So welcome. This is our sixth session of the Med Instead of Meds series. So the last one, some people emailed me that they have doctor's appointments and stuff today. So I'm really glad for those of you who can make it, and we'll shout out to all those who are watching the recording. And so today we're going to talk about rethinking your sweets. I think this is probably a good ending one. Really, good, interesting topic. So let's get started. So eating the Mediterranean way, we've talked about this same slide probably, every week. I just wanted to ask you guys, do you remember, without me telling you things, what are some of the key components of eating the Mediterranean way? Could you type it in the chat box if you remember any? So these are like key things, key components to eating the Mediterranean way. Let's see if you guys can get them all. I know it's early. Mike, thank you. Fruits and vegetables, yes, they are the core of eating the Mediterranean way. Yep, replace meat with beans and legumes. Good job. She's got the beans and legumes. Whole grains. Way to go, Eileen. Beans and seeds. Seeds. That would be nuts and seeds. Olive oil. Yes, definitely. Melanie and Joanne, way to go on that. Olive oil instead of butter. Poultry. Yeah, especially which kind of poultry, white or dark? You guys remember? White. Yep. And then fish and seafood. Good job, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to recover these here. You got the eating fruits and vegetables. You got the whole grains. You got beans and legumes. You have fish and seafood. Somebody said seeds. What else with seeds? What else, like, other than seeds? Leafy greens. Yes, so that would be vegetables. Nuts. Yes, you guys got it. So nuts and seeds, snacking on those guys. And then you got the olive oil one. There's something about flavoring foods. Yes, lentils. She's got that. What do you use to flavor foods, like, ideally, Yes, herbs and spices. You guys are great. Okay, and then could you drink in moderation? Don't start if you don't do it, but wine. Yep. Good job, you guys. Really good. Okay, so then it also recognizes the importance of three things, just kind of with your lifestyle. Yeah, Joanne's ahead of it. Exercise. Yep. And then what are two other things? Like, one of them we're kind of talking about today, sharing meals. Way to go, Mike. Sharing meals with others. And then there's one, mindful eating. Yes. And then limiting what? Nobody wants to eliminate anything, but if you had to limit something, what would be a good thing? Yes, Janetta, yes. Limiting added sugar, and other processed foods when you can. So way to go, you guys. So that's like eating with others, and then X-nay on that. So what sets it apart? I know you haven't heard this before, but it's simple, delicious, and satisfying, because they use all those different foods, and really helps make you feel satisfied so that, you can just eat, I guess, a normal portion without wanting more all the time. And so how do you eat the Mediterranean way? So you change your proteins, which you guys have definitely worked on. I've seen the recipes. Swapping your fats. Olive oil is, all over. Eating more vegetables, eat more fruit, snack on nuts and seeds, make your grains whole, and then rethink your sweets, which is what we get to talk about today. So here we go. So limiting your sugar intake, like especially sugar sweetened snacks, candies, desserts, beverages, to try to do no more than 3 servings a week. And so, I think Janetta, she would talk to me, she was just saying, okay, so what if I like to have sweets, more than 3 times a week? Like, how am I, supposed to do that? And so, what you can do is, so say, like, I know my parents and there's a lot of people like having something sweet after the meal. So if you can just think of what a serving would be, right? And then just trying to divide that up over all the days, because you get 3 servings. So like Janetta, what you had said to me is she's not, having like this huge cake every night, but she's having, just something sweet. And so, just that would definitely be okay. And that's something, because if you take stuff away, then when you do finally get it, you're way more likely to overeat. So I definitely don't want that. And so, and life, like, we got to enjoy our food, and sugar is something, as we will talk about, just is something that we naturally like. It's not learned, it's already ingrained in us. So, we're just trying to balance that with what we know is best for our body. So you limit your sugar intake to no more than 3 servings a week. So you can kind of pick that and then just divide that out over the week if you want to have something every day. So sugar, kind of like some people say it's the new fat. Like we thought fat was bad, but sugar, it looks like, could be not so great. It just illustrates the different negative health impacts that a high sugar diet is associated with. So it's associated with that does not mean it necessarily causes it, but these things always seem to go together. So we're still figuring out, if it's really, they could just always be together. So just keep that in mind. But sugar related concerns include tooth decay. We know that one might not be life threatening, but it's there. Heart disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and then metabolic syndrome. And that's like the things that include higher blood pressure, high blood sugar, triglycerides, and the lower good cholesterol, and then diabetes, obesity, gout. And so one aspect of eating the Mediterranean way is eating just less sugar. We have all these other foods that we can enjoy. And so it just has the ability to decrease many of the chronic diseases that we face today. And I talk about, sometimes I do a Mediterranean class, it's just a one class thing, but just inflammation, inflammation, sugar is one of the things that causes inflammation. And so inflammation is one of those things that's kind of underlying, and it causes a lot of the chronic diseases that we have. And, thanks, Eileen. She just said tooth decay, is life threatening. I know someone who passed from it. Good point. Thank you. Okay. So high sugar diet, especially one low in fruits and vegetables, causes increased inflammation, which in turn increases risk of diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic diseases. So many of the chronic diseases that we face in the United States today are caused by systemic inflammation. So some inflammation is good. Like if you get a cut or something like that, you want your body to be like, oh no, and then it'll bring all the fighters to that port right there. The inflammation we don't want is the one that's like underlying like all the time in our body, because that's stressful on our body. So I guess, sometimes people ask, what can I do to combat inflammation or some of the anti-inflammatory foods? So if you had to guess, it's fruits and vegetables, whole grains, olive oil, we know is one, fish and seafood. It's like all the stuff on this like way of life. So that's why they're finding like these things. I just printed off again, just eating this Mediterranean way. They've found that people who eat more like this decrease the risk of some forms of cancer. It's more effective than a low-fat diet and weight loss. Protects against cognitive decline by protecting the small blood vessels in the brain. So you have a 40% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's when you eat the Mediterranean way. And it may include eye health, such as decreasing the risk of macular degeneration. So it's like all that, like if we have the inflammation, it's more likely to happen. Yes, Jeanette, a good call. And then decreases the risk of type 2 diabetes. In one study, the risk of developing type 2 diabetes was reduced by 52% when eating the Mediterranean way. So it's just like, it's a way to like calm your body. And I guess, our bodies just love it. Can help manage blood pressure and can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease as much as 30 to 60%. So that's the number. Yeah, it is. So Eileen was just saying it's sugars in everything. So we'll talk about that. Moving on. So added sugar, all sugars, so there's the different kinds, right? There's the added sugar, and this is the type of sugar that we want to eat and drink less often. Sugar does not have any nutrients, so it's just kind of adding some calories into what we have. The added sugars include all sugars used as ingredients in processing and prepared foods, like the sugars that you use, or some people use to make breads and cakes and jams and chocolates, ice cream, pasta sauce. And so it's like the sugar that we add in with that. But the sugar that's eaten separate and the sugar that's eaten separately are added to foods on the table. So if you like have Cheerios and then you're, adding a bunch of sugar, that also counts as added sugar. Then there's the sugar found naturally in food. And this is not the type of sugar that we're talking about eating less often. Foods that have naturally occurring sugars include fruit and then dairy products. That lactose, that's the natural sugar that's in dairy. And so it's like they come with a host of other benefits, whereas the added sugar is just straight sugar. So definitely do not stop eating those. And that's kind of a thing, we can use that to our advantage because some of those foods on the right do taste sweet. So we're like, let's see how we can use those. I guess our desserts even, sugar makes us feel good. It signals the release of serotonin and endorphins, and it tastes good. So our bodies are predisposed to liking sweet foods. Unlike salty tastes, which are something that we learn to like, sweet tastes are something that we enjoy eating from birth. And sugar makes us taste good, right? Sugar makes us taste good. Sugar makes us feel good, and it tastes good. It's kind of cool. Just note, like, there's an underlying thing there that we do learn that salty taste. So that's why, if the food manufacturers, they've been working on reducing sodium in some of their products, and they know, they don't always tell us because people think that things that have less salt or low sodium don't taste good. But it's like if they could kind of all lower their sodium, we'll just get used to that because it's something that we've learned. So you can learn to need less salt on things. But sugar is a tough one because we're just, if you ever give a baby baby sugar or something, you'll see, they know right away. So how much sugar do we eat and drink? The average American consumes about 152 pounds of sugar per year. And so there's no nutrients in that. So if we could fill some of that even with something else. So let's look at that another way. That's 26 to 30 teaspoons of sugar a day. So when we get to the kitchen, I can, we can review the teaspoon, but it's about the size of your thumb tip. So we have about 26 to 30 teaspoons of added sugar a day. So that's about 3 times the amount of sugar that is recommended. So, right? So where do we get ours? In the United States, almost half of our sugar consumption comes from drinks. And I was looking at just some other countries, and like Australia, just out of interest, they have their number one is also drinks, but a smaller portion, and they have a lot more with like sweets, like chocolates and baked goods. So it's interesting, just like the foods that we eat, where are you getting it? But in the United States, it's drinks. So if you have a sugary drink, that can really, really decrease the amount of sugar you have. So 43% of the sugar in our diet comes from sugar-sweetened beverages such as soft drinks. And there's 19% that comes from grain-based desserts such as cookies, pies, muffins. 16% comes from candy, and 9% comes from dairy desserts and flavored milk. So, sometimes people pick on the chocolate milk a lot, I guess. And, if it could get you the nutrients, that could be better than some of the other added sugars, just a thought. So recommended daily sugar intake would be 6 to 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day. Okay, so on the label, sugar is listed in grams. So you're like, how is this supposed to help me? So what you can do is, that 1 teaspoon is equal to 4 grams of sugar. So if you look at a label and you see it has 4 grams of sugar, that's 1 teaspoon. So you could also think of this number as 6 times 4 and then 9 times 4. So that would be 24 to 36 grams. And that kind of depends on if you're a man or a woman and how big you are. So we often talk about it in teaspoons, but sometimes grams, I think, can actually help more. So recommended daily sugar intake is based on average calorie needs by gender. So 6 teaspoons of added sugar recommended for women, and then 9 teaspoons of added sugar recommended per day for men, just because they're usually bigger and have a higher calorie requirement. So the requirement, recommendation versus reality. So 6 to 9 is what we're supposed to, try to get to. And then less is fine. But a 20-ounce soda has about 15 teaspoons of added sugar. So the average American consumes about 23 teaspoons of added sugar a day. It can go up really fast, right? So 75% of the processed foods contain sugar. So that's almost 3/4 of all the processed foods in the grocery store have added sugar. That is crazy. I just think, it makes us accustomed to a certain level of sweetness, even in foods that are not meant to be sweet. So reading labels. So this is how you can become a sugar detective. Reading the labels can always help. The nutrition facts and ingredient lists, that's where you want to look to find sugars and to become mindful of how much sugar you're consuming. So the buyer beware, manufacturers may break apart different kinds of sugars on the ingredient list so that it does not appear as the number one ingredient, which is really annoying. Sugar by any other name is still sugar. And so this slide here, it lists different types of sugars that you might see on the ingredient list. But as you see, like sugar has all types of names, but one key, like we learned in school when I was becoming a dietitian, is that the word ending in OSE means sugar. So if you ever see like fructose, dextrose, high fructose corn syrup, glucose, maltose, and then I was talking about lactose, all those OSE ones mean sugar. So that helps. And then some of the other ones you might know, like there's the corn syrup, cane sugar, there's sugar in the raw, and honey. So as you can see, and Eileen, good question. We'll get to that. Yeah. So you can be certain that the ingredient is a type of sugar if it's OSE. So is regular sugar better than high fructose corn syrup? Or what about honey? Is agave like sugar in the raw? And so sometimes starting to see sugar in the raw never used to be a thing, but it's now, I think, people tend to think it's more natural. So first, high fructose corn syrup. It's a very cheap, very concentrated sugar that's used in a lot of foods. And that makes sense because it costs less and, really sweet so that they don't need to add as much. It is not more harmful than regular sugar. There's been some controversy about this. But when it comes down to it, they're saying looking that it just, pretty much acts the same way as sugar in the body. So when it breaks down, and all sugars should be consumed sparingly, even if they do find that high fructose corn syrup is worse, all of them, we don't want to pick all of them a lot. The idea would be to just move away from having to add any sugars really at all. So the background, like high fructose corn syrup, it hasn't been around since 1950, and then in the 1980s and 90s, it became greater frequency in the food supply. So as the rise of obesity corresponds with the use of high fructose corn syrup, some people believe that that was the cause of that. However, it was in general, like they were finding that just there's an increase in people eating high calorie foods that was causing that weight gain, not specifically the high fructose corn syrup. And then is honey okay? So honey is delicious. But it's not necessarily a lot healthier than other types of sugar, and it still counts towards your daily sugar intake. So, it does have, I could argue some antioxidants and anything. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing when you can put something like that on your wound and it'll help you heal. There's got to be something in there, but it just, it's still counting towards our daily sugar intake because our body's going to break it down and it's mostly sugar. And if we can get those same properties from like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, then we'll be good to go. So I guess that's my summary there. Is agave healthy? It's not healthier than other types of sugar. It's still sugar and counts towards your daily sugar intake. And so it just also should be used sparingly. So like whatever you want to pick, just sparingly would be great. Sugar in the raw. So sugar in the raw is table sugar that has a little bit of molasses in it. So that's why it looks brown and it's not healthier than other types of sugar. It's still sugar, counts towards your daily sugar intake, and like other sugar in the raw also could be consumed sparingly. So just in summary, they all count towards your added sugar. Some might be a little bit better than others, but it's nowhere near the nutrients that you can get in other foods. Okay, so reading labels then. The slide shows some of the labels of food items that we don't think of necessarily being sweet. So like look at their labels, how much sugar they contain. So you see the spaghetti sauce. I don't know if you can see that, but it has 10 grams. So that would be, if you divide that by 4, it's almost 3 teaspoons of sugar in 1 half cup serving. So most tomato products, like if you guys are cook at home, which I know you do because I got a lot of entries from you guys, just when you make your own tomato sauce or something like that, you can add some sugar to counteract the acid in the tomatoes. Slivered, like shredded carrots are a sweeter vegetable and they can also do that same thing. But, we could add a smaller amount and you don't need that much sugar in there, but it's like something we're getting used to. And if you ever look at SpaghettiOs, I used to have those all the time as a kid and I just had them recently and I was like, geez, they're so sweet. I was looking at the sugar and there's, they really add a lot in there. It's like a sweeter sauce almost. Bread can have sugar too. This one has less than 1 gram of added sugar, so in 2 slices. So that's pretty good. And then wheat thins, they have 3 grams, which would be almost a teaspoon then, in 16 crackers. So it's just kind of like peanut butter, then it has a little bit too. And then the takeaway from this is added sugar is in most processed foods, even the ones that we don't consider sweet. So as such, it's possible to consume sugar and even reach your daily limit of added sugar without even eating sugary foods. I noticed that about myself, since I was, studying for this presentation and just some of the things that it talks about. And I was starting to look at just things that, I wouldn't really think of as sweet. And, you can get up there pretty quick. I do it in like cereals, or sometimes I'll have parts of a granola bar, things like that. I have some examples here for you, but just remembering 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon. So we can decode that facts. So when you're looking for things like that, there's 2 foods that have a lot of added sugar sometimes. There's cereal and breakfast bars. I don't remember cereal always having that much sugar, but now it's kind of a challenge almost to go into the store and find one with lower sugar. So 2 foods that have a lot of sugar are those 2. Here's some guidelines. So cereals, you want to look for less than 6 grams of sugar per serving. And so women, infants, and children, the WIC program, they only allow cereals on their program that have 6 grams of sugar or less. So if you ever see that it's there's a tag under there that says it's allowed by WIC, then you know you've got a good one. Cereals, so less than 6 grams, and then breakfast, granola, snack bars, so less than 5 grams of sugar per 100 calories. Because some of the bars, they might have a lot of protein and things like that, so it could be, way different calories. So if you're having 100-calorie granola bar, I like Quaker or something like that, then it should have less than 5 grams of sugar or less. So I'd just say, like choose nuts when you can. I have this granola bar. It's just one of those Sunbelt bakery ones, so they tend to be a sweeter one. Anything that says bakery, right? So this one has 220 calories in this granola bar, and so that would mean that for every 100 calories, it could have up to 5. So I'd want it less than 10 grams. And this one has 15 grams of added sugar. So that's like, if I were to eat this granola bar, that's getting me pretty close to my 24 right there. And I wouldn't even be having like something like a cake or M&Ms or anything. So crazy, right? So the thing that I love the most, and I probably talked to you about this, but we have that added sugars now. So we can just look at the label, and its added sugar will be listed, total grams and the percent of daily value. So that's really helpful for foods like that have both natural and added sugar. So like dairy, like yogurt actually has some natural sugar. So if you buy that plain non-fat, I think it might have 11 grams of sugar, but if you look, there's 0 added. So you want to like look at the added one. That's the one that you want to look at. So, and that is really exciting, because then you can see things like Raisin Bran. You can choose one that maybe adds less sugar. And then beware, I guess, marinade, saucing, dressing, many are kind of high in sugar, especially if you get the low fat ones. Sometimes then they add more sugar to kind of counterbalance the loss of fat. So that's why, hopefully you can try some of these recipes for marinades and dressings that we're using in the class. And just, it's a lot cheaper too. And then you know exactly what's going in it. So making your own marinades, it's very similar to salad dressing actually. So, if you made a salad dressing and you have some left over, that could also be a marinade. So you're at like thinking you need that acid, the oil, and then some seasonings. And then, so you're choosing the acid. That can be like the vinegars or the lemon or the lime. And then you're choosing an oil. And then you're choosing some seasonings, whatever your favorite is. And then you marinate like vegetables. You can marinate poultry, fish, meat by placing the item in the marinade and then putting in a container like a sealed plastic bag or a glass container or bowl and placing it in your refrigerator for the appropriate amount of time needed by that item. So things like fish do not need to marinate very long at all. So it's kind of like a different, like how dense the thing is. So meat might be longer, such as like a lean steak. And don't drink your sugar. That's one I would just, there's nothing good with this that you're getting. So about 50% of the sugar we consume comes from liquid form, sugar sweetened beverages. So this slide shows some of the most common ones. It's soda, sweet tea, juice drinks. Like trying to eat fruit instead when you can is great. And then if you do have juice, have it in smaller amounts and then choose the 100% juice. So we got sports drinks, and I used to work with kids, and that was a very common one. Like they might be playing video games but drinking sports drinks, and then sweetened coffee drinks. Those can get us too. And then there's liquid calories and food calories. So there's evidence that the body does not respond to calories in beverages the same way as it does for food. So your body might not register all those calories you drink, and then you can end up with more calories. So, like you could have a couple big bottles of soda, and that's almost, you got a hearty, like at least a light lunch in calories, but you don't feel like you really had anything yet. So they might not help you feel full like they do, like other foods do. Another way of looking at this is the body does not see or feel the calories from beverages like the way it does from food. And the calories in beverages are like stealth calories and can cause you to consume more calories than you need. So the takeaway, don't drink your sugar. Your body does not respond the same way to liquid and food calories. So food nutrient calories are way more satisfying and generally more nutrient rich than liquid calories. And they've done studies like, just even chewing, the act of chewing can make you feel more satisfied. So that's why things like that. And also, yeah, your body registers it different. And also, if it's in a liquid form, it tends to digest quicker, which could, I guess, reduce your satisfaction or like how long you're satisfied after the meal. And then here's some examples of the sugar and sweetened beverages. So here we have, probably comes to no surprise, it's a 20-ounce soda and it has 17 teaspoons of added sugar. And then most cola and other similar drinks, regardless of the color, some people are like, what about Mountain Dew? Or like, I just drink Sprite. They're about the same, believe it or not. And then orange soda actually usually has a little bit more, which is crazy, have about that much sugar. So then we have sweetened tea. You might think of it as like a good alternative, and tea does have benefits, but it has about the same amount of sugar as other sweetened beverages. So you got to be careful with that. So you want to choose the unsweet or get kind of a flavored packet so, it doesn't taste, I guess there's a lot of flavor already in there. And then non-sugar sweetened beverage options. So you could try, there's some recipes, ginger flavored green tea recipe. So that ginger boosts the flavor of that green tea. Then there's or like a transitional drink. You could choose a cranberry lime soda. So that would be, has a natural sugar then from 100% cranberry juice. And then I believe it has like a club soda or sparkling water, carbonated water. That's what. Okay, so here's some other options. You could do the strawberry mint water recipe. It's delicious and refreshing. One of you guys did this. I think I have a picture of it. She was just saying, you can't really taste the strawberries, but they look gorgeous, but you can taste the mint and it's refreshing that way. Then there's the cucumber citrus water, rejuvenating beverage, simple to make. They call it spa water. And there's the no recipe needed. You could just flavor your waters with your favorite fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Cucumber, yeah, it's a really good one. It's just very refreshing. That one in mint. And try iced tea, without the sweetener. That you'd be getting some antioxidant benefits from the tea. So how could you do it yourself? Like yogurt and oatmeal. So instead of buying a prepared oatmeal product that already has added sugar, maybe you could make your own oatmeal and add your own sugar. And even with cereal too, sometimes if you add your own sugar, you're still adding less often, most of the time than what they would have added. So if you really like Honey Nut Cheerios, maybe you can get Cheerios, just drizzle a little bit of honey and you'd probably be doing better. This will allow you to control the amount of sugar that you use. Here's some other ones with yogurt then. That could be another one. So instead of buying flavored yogurt that already has added sugar, and the fruit is no problem in there. It's just if they add like a bunch of sugar on top of that. So you could buy your plain yogurt and add your own sugar or add like a little bit of jam or something, you're way likely to use less. And then here's just a way, you could try savory yogurt and just move away from yogurt being sweet altogether. That's something I went to a conference once and I'd always grown up with cottage cheese, which is, I know it's not yogurt, but I'd always had it with fruit like raisins or applesauce, and I would mix those together. Or just other fruit. And then when they were there, the dairy cottage cheese people were there and they had a huge buffet. So they gave you little cups of cottage cheese and you could put whatever you wanted on them. And they had the whole like sweet fruits. And then they had this whole savory section. And it was really popular. Like there were people putting tomatoes and cucumbers and some now I've branched out, but the way I grew up, that wasn't even I'd never even thought you could do that. But it is kind of a blank palate. And that would be the same with the yogurt then. So move away from it being sweet altogether. You won't have to worry about it, right? So there's a sea salt olive oil recipe in there. And then breaking your sugar habit. So you set your sugar habit, which I have been doing, and then cutting back gradually, starting with the beverages because they can make a huge impact. and then give your palate like some time to adjust. So allow yourself small sweets that you don't feel deprived, become more likely to consume, likely to overconsume. Like, when you go to a party and it's a birthday party and you're having like everyone's having cupcakes and you just want to like enjoy the experience, and that's totally fine. Life is good. It's just when trying to think about how often you do it, and just making it kind of a special occasion versus like all the time. So buy sugar smooths in small quantities and think quality, not quantity. I don't know. Sometimes some of you might like chocolate, but sometimes maybe you feel more satisfied when it's like a high quality chocolate. And so that would be a better choice for you. And using a natural fruit to calm your sugar cravings. So we're going to do some fruit recipes today. And then breaking your sugar habit, maybe you could go from apple pie to like a microwave baked apple. So what about artificial sweeteners? So the idea is if you're a fan of artificial sweeteners, then they're on the market. They're safe. They're sweetener. They're a better option than sugar, is what we've kind of come to conclude. But they're kind of what we think now. Is there's some chance that when you're eating those artificial sweeteners, you're kind of getting used to a sweeter flavor, which makes you want sweeter things. And so just having kind of using them as a transition could be a really good option. So say you notice you're using a lot of sugar now, maybe like start transitioning to some of them. But the best would be just to kind of try to enjoy foods as they are. So like thinking about the fruits and the vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, fish and seafood, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. And just like, you don't use sugar that much. It's not like a centerpiece and like, oh, I need to replenish my sugar again. But you can use it just every once in a while and just use it to help you eat those foods. Like, if you don't like plain yogurt and just a little bit of sugar would help that. Or if you don't, if you need vegetables with a little bit of teriyaki sauce or something like that, and that might have added sugar, if that could help you eat the vegetables, that's a win. And that would be the times to use added sugar then. Kind of using it to help you enjoy like the healthier foods even more versus just like having it as a drink or something like that. So the idea would just be kind of to try to use them less in general. And then you won't have to worry about artificial, should I use honey? Should I use agave? Should I use sugar in the raw? Just if you're not using that much, it's okay. So simple steps for mindful physical activity. We talked about that. So living mindfully, meaning paying attention to the events, activities, and thoughts that make up your daily life. It means doing things on purpose, not just going through the motions of how you've always done it. And then living mindfully encompasses all aspects of your life and can help you achieve your healthy eating and living goals. So, if you're at that birthday party and you're really like, just enjoying the people around you and like enjoying the cupcake and like savoring it, that it'll make you feel more satisfied and happy than it, if you're like, I shouldn't be eating this. And then thinking, just trying to live in the moment. So living mindfully encompasses all aspects of your life, can help you achieve your healthy eating and living goals. Mindful living can assist you in rethinking your sweets, as well as implementing all of the 7 steps to eating the Mediterranean way by helping you become more aware of your eating pattern and more present in your eating exercises. It can also help you in being more physically active, and that's an essential part of the Mediterranean way. And the key for being physically active, it's a foundation. So like a healthy diet, physical activity is important. It's also an important aspect of chronic disease prevention. You might have heard all the benefits of activity, right? It's like if we could just do a little bit more, we have so many benefits with that, with sleep and stress and disease. So being mindful of your physical activity can help you by assisting you in making physical activity foundation. And following some of the more simple mindful physical activity strategies can help you move more throughout the day. So why is being active so important? So sleep improvement, mood improvement, that's a win, right? And we need that now. Disease prevention, disease management, stress management, weight management, current and future mobility. So it's a good one too. I just was teaching a matter of balance class, and something like, like the more you can keep moving as you get older, it can help you prevent falls and stuff like that. Pain management. And then it has lots of benefits that can help you achieve your goals. So like what could help you move more? We got all like fun dots here. So beware of how you move your body. Do you take like the stairs or the elevator? Do you visit a coworker or do you use email? Do you park farther away or walk or look closest like for the closest parking spot? So maybe there's ways where you can just incorporate it into your life. And then do you sit all day, or do you sometimes try to get up every 30 minutes to an hour just to be a little active? And then think about how active you are in most days and take every opportunity you can to move. And the other thing, like, I don't know, um, just it's really important. This is one of the biggest things is find physical activity, like do it in ways that you enjoy it. So find your favorite ways to be active and help you get moving. Kind of like if you could change the way you're talking to yourself, just thinking like, I get to go take a walk now. It's like an escape. Or, I can't wait to go dancing. Like even just telling yourself those things, um, it can help you like start to really enjoy that habit, whatever you want to pick. And there's some things you might already enjoy without even having to do that self-talk. But like I should go to the gym, it makes it sound awful. Like I get to go to the gym, like, it's like a release, or things like that. Just thinking about the way you're thinking about it. And then also just really do try to find things that you enjoy, because then it won't be work. Like, what they say about the job, if you do something that you enjoy, it's never work. So just thinking about that too. So some people really find it helpful to put physical activity on the calendar like you do with other commitments. Like you're like, I get to go to the gym today. Planning ahead will get you moving, or taking a walk. And it's getting really nice out here in Florida. So it's really nice using positive self-talk. Like, I can do this. I like walking. I had a friend she's in Minnesota, and she was training for the Boston Marathon. But that's not she's training for a marathon, because that wouldn't make sense. But she's running, and so she posted on Instagram, like she's like, I like dreary long runs in the woods. I like dreary long runs in the woods, and she kept like repeating that to herself. And she showed a picture, and it was like the Minnesota kind of almost like blizzardy, like really dreary day, and she's like going in this path in the woods, and she was like, I said that for the last hour. But it was just funny because that's if you can do that kind of thing, it can really help you. And then being in the moment and focus on how the body feels during physical activity. Ask yourself, like, how hard am I working? How do my legs feel? Like, how do I feel? I think the best thing, at least for me, is like when you get done doing something that was physically active, like the way you feel, you kind of get that same endorphins that you probably get from sugar in a way healthier way. So enjoying the benefits of being physically active, take a minute or two after you're active and think about how you feel. Do you feel better, stronger, happier, less stressed? So that would be, like if you're not, maybe we can switch up your activity, because maybe there's something out there that you enjoy. And then how much activity is enough? So anything is better than nothing. The physical activity guidelines, they're very firm that, don't if you're doing very little and you just start doing it a little bit, the benefits are incredible. So just moving more is just the goal. They suggest adults need at least 150 minutes every week of moderate intensity aerobic activity, so such as brisk walking, or 75 minutes every week of like more like jogging or running, vigorous intensity, and muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more days of the week. So that would be kind of like if you're doing like push-ups or like leaning against a counter, an equivalent, or you can do a combination of the two. So if you think about 150 minutes, so 20 times 7 is 140. So if you think about it, like 20 minutes a day, just trying to get a little bit of activity, and then you don't have to do it all at one time. They found that too. It doesn't have to be all at one time, and you still get the benefits. So, and if you can increase your activity even beyond that, they found benefits for 300 minutes a week, and then 150 of vigorous. So the combination is what you want to get to, just something that you really enjoy. And be mindful of your intensity. Light intensity would be like when you're singing. Moderate intensity, you can carry on a conversation. And then the vigorous, like if you're going for vigorous activity, you become winded or too out of breath to carry on a conversation. So sometimes I walk with friends, and I think we're probably at about moderate, because we definitely talk most of the time. And it's how perceived excursion is. It's how hard you feel that you are working. So it's a way to be mindful of your body and how like you feel overall while doing an activity. So when you're done, you don't want to be like, you still want to have a little bit of energy. You don't want to just totally exhaust yourself, because your body, like appreciates just even the work up to it, but not like all the way. You know, you don't want to overdo it either. So think about your body all over, not just your legs or your breathing, and think about your overall effort and rate it on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 would be like, I'm doing nothing at all, and 10 being the absolute maximum you can do. So you want to feel like you're working, but not working so hard that you're in pain. We definitely don't want that, because then how likely are you to do it again either? Generally, in an excursion about like, apparently I can't say that word, is about 5 to 6 on that scale. Then moderate intensity activity, and 7 to 8 is vigorous. So you're like, really working, but you're still feeling good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna show you a couple of the recipes that they have for rethinking your sweets, and then that's some more things. So there's that strawberry mint water. It does look really pretty. Good having people over drink. Then this is a cucumber citrus water recipe. There's the cranberry lime soda. There's a ginger flavored green tea. That one I need to try. Then we have the microwave baked apples. And then going the savory way instead of the sweet way with things like that. And then you guys remember this one. I'm a fan. And we're making this one today, the banana granada with blueberries. And we made that one the first week. You guys remember that one? I would make that one again. That is fruit chaat. And then the coconut crunch stuffed prunes. That's also on there too. They also have a meringue one on there. Okay, so I just have to show you one other thing. Let me see. I was just going to show you this too. I had just eaten these. It's crazy because I think when I was looking at the bag, I thought they were just nuts and fruit, right? But I was looking at the label just because we were having this class. And if you can see it on there, let's see, total sugars is 10 and includes 7 grams of added sugar. So they added 7 grams of added sugar on there. I was like, wait a second. So I just didn't expect that they'd even put any in there. So then I was at this police academy, and they gave us cookies, and so they gave us 2 Chips Ahoy cookies, and I was just kind of, I had just had the nuts that morning, and so I was looking, and it says total sugars 7 grams added sugar, so it's the same as the nuts. It was just crazy. I wanted to show you guys. It's like sometimes, I guess I wouldn't have thought that. So just interested in that. So let me see just if there's questions. Okay, Roseanne was just saying she's been cooking the Mediterranean way since the start of the seminar, and she has a 43-year-old Down syndrome son. And last night when she was cooking the salmon and lentils, he said, "Does it have meat in it?" And then Eileen, we talked about the honey, sugar, and peanut butter because we think it tastes better. I think it's why. Diet peanut butter and gum contain xylitol, so that's a sugar alcohol. I would say it's probably more natural than the artificial sweeteners, but it can be deadly to dogs. So she was saying, luckily it's not deadly to us, but yeah, that wouldn't be good. We are so used to, desserts with sugar and fats. It's hard to, just, it's kind of interesting, when you go to just sometimes other countries and they just don't have quite as much focus on the sugar, as we do. All right, so let me think. What I was gonna do, I'm trying to think. I have a short presentation of all the recipes that you guys did, and then I was going to do the drawing at the end. And I'm trying to think. I think it might actually be easier. I'll show you the presentation now. How about, and then we'll just do the drawing right after I get done with the recipes. Does that sound okay? Okay. You're like, do we have a say? Okay, so let me get that up. Thank you for your patience. Let's see here. Thank you. There we go. I think we got it. finally. Okay, so I have to tell you, Mike, I think he's on the call, Mike Leffler, but he's been in this class and he's been helping me track all the recipes. It's really incredible. I have the stats on the back table because I was thinking about doing this at the end, but I just feel like it might be a little bit easier to do it now. And then I'll do the dry at the end, and I'll have to tell you how, like, what was the most popular recipe, who made the most recipes. I think we had 88 entries. That's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna show you just some of the things that you guys cooked. It's pretty impressive. Let me see if I can move this thing along. So your recipes, titled your recipes. So here are some, and there's quite a lot. So I'll try to go a little bit fast, but not too fast. So we have the, let's see. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at the comments. Okay, so avocado toast. Just, it's kind of fun to see how you guys all did it. And then there's the banana nut muffins. A lot of people made those and said some comments like sometimes people wanted riper bananas, things like that, or maybe more spices. So if you make those, and there's the banana oatmeal pancakes. I'm a fan of those. You guys did a really good job. And then here's some more of the banana nut muffins and the pancakes. And then Joanne made the black bean soup. She said it was really good. So that's a good one. Some of you guys took amazing pictures. It was just really, really cool. So there's, you remember some of these recipes. There's one we didn't do, that ginger bok choy. Then there's the honey glazed balsamic salmon. And then somebody did that ginger, I don't know, is Joanna on? She'll have to tell us if she liked that. I can't remember. Ginger flavored green tea. And then there's the honey roasted chickpeas. Eileen did those, and the kale chips. She tried those too. There's a lentil and beet salad. You guys remember that one? And there's just like, look at how different the lentil beet salad, you know, and then there's the tuna one too. Do you guys remember that? And then there's the lentil beet salad. Thanks, Roseanne. Lentil beet salad again. We got the tuna salad. We have the tuna and the lentils. Look at that one's divided. And then we had the beet salad again. Look at how pretty you guys. Yeah, you guys are really good. I think that's a win. The muesli, did that one. There's the Mediterranean tuna salad again. Kind of fun to see how it all came out, right? And then we have more of the Mediterranean tuna salad. And then there's the mushroom almond burger. So that one, she did the microwave baked apples. You see those? And then check out all these different mushroom almond burgers. It's kind of cool, like how plated them and everything. And then there's more. And then Janetta did the mushroom beef burgers. She said they were pretty good. There's the olive oil toast. And then some people use the olive oil toast and then just made that peanut butter and apple, or peanut butter and, what was our other option? Grapes sandwich, you know, using that olive oil toast then. There's that avocado one again, olive oil toast. Then Sharon made the oven roasted butternut squash too. There's the one-eyed Jack, that recipe's also on there. And we have some of the oven roasted vegetables up there. Peanut butter and apple slices, yum. And then here's some of those sandwich ones. So pretty. Go again. And then we have the quinoa strawberry salad. There's a quinoa strawberry salad again. Olive oil toast. Rosemary chili almonds. I really like those. I'm a fan. Go. Simple stir fry. There's salmon patties. Della did those. And then Sharon's the one who did the salmon chowder. So has anyone else tried that yet? Let me know. The spicy vegetable tacos. You guys remember that one? And spicy roasted cauliflower. Looks really good. I could go back to any of these recipes. There's, Joanne made the strawberry mint water. So it does look really pretty, doesn't it? She also made the tomato and pepper salad with lime. So that was a different one. I didn't do that one. Janetta made the whole grain chickpea and black bean salad, and she said it could feed an army. So if you guys ever need that, be there for you. Whole wheat pasta with beans and greens. It's so interesting how people did it different ways, you know, using different greens, using different pasta shapes. And there it is again. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys so much. And so what we'll do is we'll go to the kitchen. If you can just give me a second, and then we'll whip up 2 recipes and then do the drawing. That sounds good. So thank you guys. Okay, let's see if you can see. Kind of. Definitely. It's gonna work okay, right? You can definitely, you guys like my backdrop. I gotta, there's gotta be a different way to do the camera so you don't have to see the whole walls. All right. Is there? Let's see. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's get started. So I have the drawing right here. Look at all these names in here. Okay, it looks really small when they're all flat, but there's a lot. And we'll do that at the end. Don't let me forget. So today we are making the banana ice cream basically. And my bananas are not that ripe, so it probably won't even taste banana. You probably taste just like vanilla. And then we also have the cucumber salad with peanuts. So it's like cucumber, but cucumber. And it's said like that. It's I actually have a coworker who's from India, and she said she's definitely heard of it. And she said it usually has cucumbers in it, and it's kind of just a chopped salad. And it does not usually have mango, but this recipe does have mango. People really like the sweet flavor with it, and I was looking online just to do some investigation about the cucumber, and a lot of other people put mango in it too. So we're making it kind of a mix. So I cut some of the stuff, but not all of it, just so we could practice cutting the mango again. I have a jalapeno here. I looked it up. They are usually on average like 3 to 4 inches, right? So this one is definitely, yeah, it's about 4 3/4. So it's a pretty big one. I thought, at Walmart they were so much, and I was thinking they were so much per. So I was like, I might as well just get the bigger one, but it was per pound. So kind of, whatever. But we'll probably put in most of it just because. All right, so we have tomatoes, we have cucumber, so we'll put those in. Put the tomatoes in. So I already diced 2 big tomatoes, and they were from Florida, so that's good. Our tomatoes are here. And then this is English cucumber. So the difference, the English one has that wrapping on it, and it doesn't have the seeds. It doesn't have seeds like the other one does. So it's something that you can, if you don't like the seeds in cucumber, that's the one for you. So it's usually in a wrapped, and then it's long and thin. So I cut that. You guys won't have to watch me do that. And then maybe I'll just add, okay. So then we have the jalapeno pepper minced, mango diced, a cup of diced pineapple. So you could use frozen or you could use canned. And then a 1/4 cup of chopped mint leaves. I got that. And then we have cumin, salt, cayenne, and some Spanish peanuts. All right, so let's cut the jalapeno first. Or the mango. What do you guys want? Let's see here. Let's do the mango. All right, so if you remember, there's that huge seed in the middle, and the color is not indicative of if it's ripe or not, because they can come in all different colors. So yeah, I guess the best way to tell is kind of like an avocado. If if it gives just a little bit, then you're good. I had to go to 2 different stores yesterday just because I didn't want a hard one because it doesn't taste as sweet. So I got that big seed, so I'm just trying to cut on both sides of that. The idea is if I could cut it as close as possible, then at least less. Obviously trying to get as much off as I can. Mangoes are so good. All right. So then you can do that checkered pattern. Oh, I should have tried. You guys remember this one where you put it on the edge of the cup? I was going to try that. I already cut, so we'll see if it works, but maybe it has to be riper. Kind of works. Oh, not too bad. Okay. have the little cubes. Just cutting away the cubes from the thing. This one's not that ripe. You know, otherwise, I guess it holds better cubes when it's not as ripe, but it could come off the skin better. I'm going to get, just going to peel that off. We're going to roughly chop it. So that's what it means, the salad. Roughly chopped. I'm just laughing because this is not that graceful. All right. And let me cut my slices. Some. I got mango. I'm pretty sure, Janetta, you said the skin or something's, was it? It was mango, right? That was related. The outside has that latex that can irritate the skin. She might have to double check me on that. All right. This is something I can deal with more time. All right, so then we also have the pineapple too. So let's just do that right now. So pineapple, I looked up at the Dole website and they said that all their pineapple are ripe. They don't ripen after picking. And so, but a lot of places online, like Bon Appetit, they actually said that they will turn more yellow color. So they were saying to look at the color to tell for ripeness. I've also heard you can kind of smell on the bottom, and if you can smell the pineapple, then you know it's ripe. So I looked for a ripe one. Like the browner leaves are not ideal. I double checked. Some people have said like if you can pull out one of these part of the leaves, that it's really ripe. That I think this one is really ripe, and none of the leaves are coming out. So that they were saying on the Dole website that wasn't true. So we're gonna cut this thing. We're gonna cut off the trim. Maybe we can twist it. All right, so we have the top. You can plant a pineapple with this. Let's see. So we're cutting off the top. The bottom. So we only need a cup. So let me think here. So this is 2 cups. We're going to use that there. And then we're just going to shave off the sides. So you take top, bottom, and then shave off all the sides. And you can use this, you could make pineapple vinegar with the peel if you wanted. All right, I have all those. So then there's the core, right? So you can eat the core, but you might be chewing a really long time. It's very fibrous. It smells good, you guys. I think we got a good one. Just gonna try to get off some of those. You might, I don't mind some of those like little eye things being in there, but definitely presentation, right? Okay, so you cut it in half. right? So you put the flat part down. Ideally, then it's easier to cut and won't slip around. So flat, always down. And then cut it in fours. I definitely got it proportionally, not quite in half. I think I got most of the core right here. You can kind of see it in the middle. So what I'm going to do then is I'll stand that up and I'll just cut out the core. So that's most of it right there. I don't even know if any of it is here. But ideally, you would just cut like little pieces to get the core off each of the four of them. So let's do. You can see it's just you'd be chewing for a really long time. All right, and we'll probably need, well, let's see, it's a mess. Okay, so we're going to cut this. Probably think I should have sliced it a little smaller. Got a big chunk of pineapple, little chunks of, you know. All right, that's gotta be, that is a heaping cup right there. All right, got that. Then, okay, now for the jalapeno. All right, so jalapeno, I'm going to use a smaller knife for just sometimes a little more control. So what I am going to do with that, so we'll cut off the top, and then we'll cut this guy in half. So the hottest part is the part by the membrane. So membrane and then the seeds have a little more, but the outside part, the more membrane that's by it, the hotter it is. So it's actually probably less hot. So if you ever, somebody wanted you to take a bite of a pepper and you were like, okay, I would definitely take the bottom end if you could, just for purposes of hotness. I'm just going to cut around that membrane. And you could leave the seeds in if you want, or you could scrape them out with a spoon. Got most of that done. And you can eat that if you want, but it's usually kind of bitter. Okay, so I'm cutting out on both sides of this membrane thing. Great, there we go. And so now I have these strips here. I'm just going to make some more strips. I don't know if you figured it out, but I kind of like hot things, so probably leave the seeds as much as I can. The idea just on the peppers, you could also, people have just said you can just scrape it out with a spoon, the membrane, if you don't want to cut it out. That will work. All right, so after this, so we have the pineapple in there, we have the mango in there, we have the tomatoes, the cucumber, and we'll soon have the jalapeno. So then a fourth cup of chopped mint. And I ended up having to get it because we didn't have any growing. I just got one of those packages of it. And so to help that last longer, then you can take that out of the package and actually put it in like a little vase of water, kind of like we did with the cilantro. And it'll last for up to 2 weeks that way versus sometimes it doesn't last that long in that container. All right, got jalapeno. Not putting in the not putting in the membrane. All right, so then we have the mint chopped. I was cutting this up this morning, and the cucumber and the mint, like everyone in the office was like, "What is she making?" It's so refreshing. So we got that in there. mint is going in. And then we have so we have 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon salt, and then a ½ teaspoon cayenne pepper. And then the juice of 1 lime, approximately 1½ teaspoons. So, tablespoons, excuse me. We'll do the cayenne first. Just need a half of that. You're thinking between this and the jalapeno, you know, it could be pretty, it would be pretty good. It's like layers of flavor, right? And then the cumin, so that helps with digestion. The cumin. And we want, 1 teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon is this. Remember, 1 teaspoon is equal to 4 grams of sugar. So if you put that much in your cereal, that's about having 4 grams. Or if you add that in your oatmeal. So we got cumin, right? 1 of those, and then some salt. I'm spilling all over, so that's why you do it over, right? Do it over the cutting board instead of over the dish. All right, we got some salt. Salt does have a place sometimes that it can actually bring out the sweetness in foods. So as you guys might have sometimes, if you grew up like putting, you can put salt on different, foods to bring out their sweetness. What I'm trying to say. And then we have, so we got those 3, then the juice of the lime. So I was walking one day at work and a man on Banana Avenue, he has a key lime tree and he offered me some. So we're going to use 2 small key limes to equal the 1 lime. It says about 1½ tablespoons, tablespoons, yep. So if you just have the lime juice, you could probably use that also. All right. I think this is going to be another good one, you guys. I haven't tried it yet. Lime sure smell good. All right. We got them. Mixing everything. Anything I'm forgetting? Just the ½ cup of Spanish peanuts. So I looked up why they're called Spanish peanuts. So they're the ones with that kind of red shell thing on them, or a papery coating. And they were cultivated in Spain. That's why they call them Spanish peanuts. And they're cultivated to be like a smaller, rounder size, I guess. And so I'm just using regular peanuts, but I don't know if you knew that, but the papery stuff on the outside of peanuts, not the shell, but inside the shell, it's really, really good for you. It's really high in antioxidants. They're really high when they test it. So if you guys like to eat that little paper stuff or it doesn't bother you, that would be a win. All right, so we have the salad here, and then we'll put in, sprinkle the peanuts on top when ready to serve. Let's see. Do an exhibit. Think of all the different flavors in here. We have the mint, we have something spicy. A little bit of salt. I'm going to top it up with peanuts. Bad. All right, we got that. And then, now we get to do ice cream. I just cut the recipe in half because you guys aren't here with me. So I have 2 bananas instead of 4. And then I have a teaspoon for honey. A lot of dishes. All right, guys. Come on over. Just think of the options. I have some mint left. If I use cocoa powder, you think it would taste like mint chocolate chip? That. And I also have peanuts. You can make a peanut butter banana ice cream. All right, so all you do is you take, so I have 2 bananas frozen. I sliced them a little bit. And it says to let them thaw. These are directly from the freezer, so we'll see how it goes. So it's a good way to use up the bananas if you have some that are getting really ripe. You know, the more dots on them, the sweeter that they are. So these weren't very sweet, but sometimes I've made this before, and you know, it's nice to have kind of a neutral flavor, because then you can add peanuts or cocoa powder or peanut butter, or you can add, I guess I haven't tried the mint yet, but could add something like that, or fruit, and then it would be kind of more like real ice cream versus banana ice cream. But you might like banana ice cream, so you can do it riper if you want. What do you guys think is the problem this time? I know we haven't blown a fuse. I don't think this is it. Okay, we're just gonna try another plug-in if I can make it. I have so many electrical problems. I'm gonna test it. Wow, okay. That is it, apparently. Well, if I were doing any more classes, I would probably test this every single time. Go. All right, see how this goes. Mine is like in little granules. It was so frozen, it's not creamy, it's granules. Okay, so let me see. They say you can add 2 teaspoons of honey. So I will add 1. I can get the honey to come. I don't really know if I need honey, but kind of curious. Today, right? Here's what mine looks like. I have to tell you, it's kind of funny. It looks like I think this is just what happens when it's so frozen. It looks like, what is that ice cream that comes in the dots? Like I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna do it a little bit more. All right, mine definitely needs some liquid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see here. I think I'm gonna put in some pineapple. All right, we're making a modification. I'm putting in some of the pineapple. It's getting, you see it? I don't know if you can see, but it's creamy. All right. I think that's going to taste really good, actually. Might have to do a new modification. It's kind of like a sorbet. Look at it. All right, and then I have to tell you, I didn't really get much honey out, but you could add that if you wanted. Ideally, maybe if you don't need to, you don't need to. And then I have some blueberries here. We have that. And that is it. I think I'm having one of those days. So anyway, all right. So we got that. And then let me do the drawing quick. Let me see here. So these are just stories I can use later then. All right. Oh, that's great. All right. Thank you, guys. I know some of you have to go. Okay. So I was just going to say the number of entries we had for the contest was 88. Number of entrants, 16 different people. Max entries for a recipe was 9. And then the most made recipe was the lentil and beet salad. And most entries, Sharon Snyder, you get that award. And number of different recipes made, 35 different recipes you guys made. So let me just, I will get your address if you win, and I will then mail you the public gift certificate. So let's see, I'll do it. So the first one is Della. So Della Landfear, she's got a gift certificate. Way to go. She made a lot. So every time somebody made a recipe, I put it in. What do we have now? We got Etta Robinson. So way to go, Etta. Yay. I should have someone else to draw for me. Sorry, guys. And then we have Etta won again. She's like, oh boy. So we're going to put her name aside. You only win once, this one. We have Sharon Snyder. She did make the most recipes. So, all right. So we have 2 more people. All right. Della again. Look at you, lucky people. And then we have Sharon again. she's in here 16 times. Oh, we have Roseanne Westonwig. So way to go, Roseanne. So one more. I've enjoyed you guys too. It's been a really fun class to teach. Sharon? Karen Banfield. So that's who we have, you guys. So thank you so much. So I'll contact you guys who won and do that. Get you those cards. And does anybody have any questions? I also have a survey. If I could email that to you, I would love if you could do it, because that'll help me figure out how to do things better next time, other than making sure the electrical outlets work. So, anybody has any questions? Let's see. Well, thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it. I see you guys eating. All right. All right. Bye, you guys. And we'll be in touch with the survey. And thank you so much for everything. Really appreciate it. All right. Bye, you guys.